What is good, YouTube? It is your boy Quisballinn, man. I am back with another video for you guys, and I am joined in the studio by my guy, my man, SovereignTy. What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
I can't complain, man. Another day in paradise. And you, my guy?
Oh, I'm doing great. Glad to have you on here, man, because we got a lot of subjects I want to touch on, and this is long overdue. So we just gonna get straight to it, man. We gonna get right to it. And I definitely want to hear your opinion on all of these topics. So first up, we got Shumpert, man. We got some devastating news on this guy. This guy has just gone through his divorce settlement. It has just been finalized. And I'm gonna just read you some of these details, man. So I'm looking at this article here. The divorce settlement between Shumpert and Tiana Taylor has been finalized, with Taylor receiving 4 houses valued at over 10 million, a one-time seven-figure payment, various luxury vehicles including a 300K Maybach, 70K Sprinter van, and a tour bus. She also retains 100% ownership of her companies. And it says, furthermore, Shumpert is obligated to provide 8K a month in child support for their daughters, Junie and Rui Rose, and cover the full cost of their private school education. So you hear all of that, man, and I just want to ask you this question. Man, bro, are you discouraged from getting married when you hear stuff like that? I mean, what do you think could have gone different, man? What do you think Shumpert should have did to not have to go through all that? Is it just avoiding marriage or what?
Well, I would say we had to take it from the top and talk about just the whole financial contract of getting married. And I feel like a lot of people get involved in marriage due to hype and propaganda from what they hear and what society wants them to do and what their parents want them to do or grandparents, and not fully understanding that it's a financial contract and that humans um, are very unpredictable and biased. So to get involved in a financial contract like that with an individual, I think is risky. So me myself, I wouldn't like. I definitely am a lover, but as far as me getting in a financial contract like marriage, I don't need to do so. Like I feel that people nowadays need to understand that you can be in love with somebody and not necessarily be married. And also, I see marriage as a contract of you're just tempting a woman just to just rip you off because of how the laws are structured, as you can see. And in this situation, they're both breadwinners. So it's not like, you know, Tina was a stay at home mom. You know what I'm saying? She actually she made market value. She had value in the marketplace. So I feel that what would have been fair is both of them, divide and take what they created on their own and leave with that, because no one wants to give up half of their time and effort to somebody else or a portion of it. I feel that if you're a mature adult, that you should receive what you have created, and that is how nature and the universe works. And if you want to use the government to help you, you know, steal from other humans, shame on you. And also remember the laws of karma and dharma. So that would be my 2 cents on that.
Okay, okay. So does he get a little bit of blame for not having that prenup in place to where this wouldn't happen to him? Is that his fault?
Yes, and I would also say that him just his fault. His main fault is not getting a lawyer or a wealth planner to advise you. Um, it's very easy to do so. And if he was focused on his wealth and his money and his time and his effort, I think that any wise individual or any individual that has self love for themselves would invest the time in sitting down with somebody to help manage their money, knowing that it's such an important part of life.
Oh, I definitely agree. So marriage isn't bad, you guys. It's just you got to be smart when it comes down to it, man, because it's a huge decision, and you don't want to end up like this dude. Dude, and lost damn near everything, man. But hopefully he ends up getting to see his kids, and they can each individually live on happily ever after this situation. But we on to the next topic, man. And this one,
Yes, sir.
got to talk about this guy, Mr. Durkio Smirkio, man, the guy that's you're looking at on your screen right now. This guy has been charged, locked up, arrested for a murder for hire scheme, allegedly targeting fellow rapper Quando Rondo. Now, this was in connection to the 2020 killing of King Von and ATL, which we know that Durk and Von was close. And Durk basically tried to get his get back. And when he allegedly hired these guys to go get Rondo for that incident, they end up getting Rondo's cousin. And so this is why we see Lil Durk locked up. So, Mr. SovereignTy, man, I want you to speak on this. Just give me your initial thoughts when Lil Durk got arrested and you heard his charges.
So, to start off with the situation, like when I first heard it, I was truly saddened by it, just because, like, Lil Durk, Keith, as you know, like we've been listening to Lil Durk and just being on that Chicago vibe since high school, and just knowing who his daddy is and what he been through and the type of respect that he has and the influence that he has. It's just a sad situation just to see another human being have to be locked up in a cage. So I would like to start off with that because that's the humane part. Um, Now the second part of what I gotta say is this is something that a lot of artists and individuals, everybody who's listening to this, we as a society and culture have unknowingly celebrated evil acts, which is killing, murdering, dropping bombs on people, going to war. And these are just kind of like the side effects of a culture that strives on violence. So I know I'm getting deep, but I have to go here because I want people to understand that these type of influence do affect us as individuals. So just the whole fact of our history being violent as America, everybody knows how we came to America and discovered it and what we did and the wars that we were involved in and things of that nature, and the islands that we control and the territories that we own. It's very obvious that, we came up through violence. So to expect our citizens to therefore just to be law abiding citizens and just take the dog out for a walk is kind of crazy and hypocritical on behalf of the government. So that's one side of it that I wanted to mention. And
Mm-hmm.
Keith, does that kind of make sense on what I'm saying before I get on to my next point?
Yeah, I'm following.
So that's one part of it that I want people to kind of understand. So like I feel that the whole situation with the violence and the shooting obviously is wrong, right? And to me, it seems like the industry that he was in and the people who was giving him paychecks were not discouraging him from these acts of violence and proclaiming acts of violence. And it's just sad to see that talking about these situations of killing other people, that it actually came to life
Mm-hmm.
As we know, life is in the tongue, and we create what we speak upon and what we think upon. And he actually ended up doing it. So it's a very sad situation on behalf of those who lost their life. And it's also a sad situation on behalf of Durk, who has to be locked up and we don't get to listen to his music. So I think that we all should learn the lesson of like getting played and doing things to harm other people and not understanding the blessing that we were given, which is life. And that if you're given the blessing of life where you can feel, touch, and smell and do all type of things in life, travel, you know what I'm saying, eat all type of amazing foods, work out, create anything you want to create with your life, why would you therefore make a decision to take other people's life? Like, I just don't understand that. So that's kind of like how I feel about the situation. To be honest, I don't think it's an act of stupidity, but more of ignorance, blind ignorance, in taking other people's life. Because this whole street beef, there's no point to be beefing, um, and to be shooting each other, especially if you're just in different gangs, because that wasn't even the reason for these gangs. These gangs were not created to fight each other. They were just created to protect and provide for their block and their and the areas that they so-called controlled, quote unquote. So yeah.
Okay.
Um, I hope that the youth and anybody witnessing the situation can see how violence doesn't lead to no good for anyone. And if you do something wrong, you should definitely expect some type of um, some type of a reaction. So
Yeah.
we should be very careful with what we do with our time and with our
Right.
blessings, because Lil Durk didn't need to do none of that. So that's my
Right.
3 cents.
Okay. So you make a lot of good points, but I think that Lil Durk would probably say, and maybe people around him, that this was fueled by revenge. Kind of speak on that. What do you think? Like, how powerful is the feeling of getting revenge? Like an eye for an eye. You take out one of my guys, I need to take out one of your guys. How powerful is that? That a guy that is a multimillionaire would, risk all his freedom, all his wealth, taking care of his family, everything like that, to get revenge on a quote unquote rival. And like, do you think it's hard to really put this into words, man? Because
Are
this,
you talking about like King Von getting shot in Atlanta situation? May you rest in peace.
yeah, yeah. So Dirk wanted to get revenge, basically, to avenge his man's, and this is allegedly why he got caught up into this whole thing, because he tried to go get Quando Rondo, and they end up getting the wrong dude anyway, which is a L. So what do you think about the
So
act of getting revenge? Like, is that strong? Is it that powerful? When is the right time for somebody to walk away from a situation?
I think it's based on everybody's like personal preference on how they want to live their life. Like, I know somebody's father who, I won't speak his name, but his dad is locked up ever since he was a young man. I think he was about 8.
Mm-hmm.
And his dad ended up, taking somebody else's life because they killed his brother, so. And his dad was just fine with that situation and explained it to him. And his son understood the situation. Like, okay, someone killed my uncle. My dad killed him. He's in prison. He understands. But there are some situations where in that same situation, the son could hate, the dad for that situation. Everybody could hate the man. So I I think it depends on the circle that you come from,
Mm-hmm.
the family you come from, the area you come from, the expectations that you come from. If you come from a Muslim family, getting that revenge, in my limited opinion and experience, is like something you definitely should do. Maybe in Christian families, people may not be so adverse to doing that just because of the turning the other cheek and, the principle of Jesus and the forgiving. So like you mentioned, the eye for eye, like people who live by the eye for the eye, like they really live by that, and that's their custom. So I think it's based on individual people's preferences. But my opinion, I would say, is like revenge is definitely something that each person has to deal with, and I would look at it full circle because I like to zoom all the way out, as you can tell. So, I don't look at something that simply. Like, I'm gonna look at it from all angles. So, from one angle, that's the most important to me would be, would I want to risk my limited life on getting revenge and hurting somebody else for something that didn't directly affect me?
Mm-hmm.
Quick answer, no. Second question I would ask myself, would my homie who's dead would want me to be locked up and get revenge for a situation that happened to him, or would he want me to live my best life? And I think that if it's your real friend, he would not want you to be locked up and get revenge. I really think your man would say, bro, just forget about it, live your best life. That nigga's a custer. He'll get his, whatever the case is. So that's that's the full circle of how I would look at that situation. So I would ignore my negative feelings of trying to get revenge and think about it full circle and what's the consequences of my decisions, how they would affect me. And then I would also be like, what would my mans want me to do? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And he would probably want me to be free and live the best life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Okay. Okay. Well, understood. Now we're gonna switch gears a little bit, man, and we're gonna talk about something that might be a little close to home for me. The rapper Get Money Lil Ronnie was gunned down in Fort Worth, along with his 5-year-old child in the vehicle. He was at a car wash. His two ops pulled up on him, and they saw the opportunity, got him, and got his child. Unfortunately, man, sad part about it. Um, Now it was said that they didn't know the girl was in the car. I mean, whether they did or didn't, she's still gone. So that means nothing. They're still going to be locked up for doing what they did. But the whole question I want to ask you on this situation is, what are the rules in the streets nowadays, man? Because I hear people say that there's none, right? And then I hear people say leave women and leave children out of it, no snitching, this and that. But every day I see women getting hit, children getting hit, and people snitching, and they are in the streets. So, what are the rules to the streets, man? Like, could you break that down, man? Like, give your expert opinion on that.
so first I would start off with, I am not affiliated with nothing, but I know a little something. That's about it.
Oh. Let me put that disclaimer out there too. We is not in none of this shit, man. We are just speaking on the
Right.
situation. what Lil Durk say on his song? This is not real. None of this is
Right.
real. It's just a
We is
discussion.
not in the field.
Right. Right. Last
We
field
are
I've
not in
been
the
on.
field, folks. I'm gonna keep it a
Last
buck
field
with you.
I've been on is the football field. But go ahead, brother.
Right. So, so I would say this. I've been to Texas twice,
Yeah.
and being from Detroit, like I do know that every state has different rules and guidelines. And all I know is that from my studies, and I've read a little bit of the book of what's the guy of that Drake be going down hanging out with, the old guy, music
Oh,
producer,
uh Jay Prince.
Jay Prince. Yeah, so I read some of his book, and I realized that the ward and where they're from and all them guys, like they really about that life. Like uh, they they are not like people to play with. So I realize that Texas has a lot of money going through it. I'm talking billions of dollars, and um, obviously you can fill in the blank. I'm not gonna say for sure because I'm nobody's accountant, but that would be the most logical answer. So, like, there's a lot of money coming through Texas. So people don't play in Texas would be my opinion. And when I went down there and I kind of felt things out, I really noticed that it's not like Detroit or Chicago or New York or Boston that I've been to where, you know what I'm saying, uh, primarily African American or Caucasian people are dominant. There's many different ethnicities in Texas that are primarily there, and the climate is different, and how those people think and where the countries they came from are different from people who grew up in the suburbs of Ohio or Michigan. So, or the inner cities of these areas. So, I gotta say that disclaimer. But getting deeper into the situation, I would say this: I can't imagine anybody purposely wanting to shoot a kid. Um, that almost 99% of the time is an accident. If it's not, then whatever reason you're probably dealing with what I would like to call demons. And these are individuals that like go in and they don't care about none of that. Like everything is gone. And depending on what you were involved in, you can unleash the wrath of these type of beings. And when you do, these are don't guys or gals that don't care about anything. Therefore, we call them demons, and they shouldn't be celebrated. And them people get busy in a negative way. So there's those aspects, and then there are other people who just get down. If you guys understand my lingo, and it's just a business point, and they don't want to really hurt people. So a lot of times, people have to understand when people are getting shot. Uh, Most of there's money on the line. So you don't think that people just wake up in the morning just shooting people for no reason. Like they're getting paid. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if they get paid to kill somebody, they're going to make sure the job is done. And unfortunately, like I said, some people are more cautious, and then some people don't give a damn. So depending on what type of activities and people you're dealing with, you can unleash the wrath. And this is why I also encourage, young people and people that I talk to, when I go speaking or whatever I do on my podcast or show, is to always think about how you're affecting the people around you and what you're around. Because if you hang out with gangsters, um, mafia guys and killers and drug dealers, you're gonna get the consequence of that lifestyle, which is death, prison, you know, the whole 9 yards. If you
Yeah.
hang out with video people, play video games all the time and play chess and play Pokemon cards, the worst thing you're gonna get is a stomach ache from drinking too much Mountain Dew and eating too much Cheeto puffs. Like, you feel me? Like, there's certain consequences. So whatever your appetite is, I'm not here to say what's right or wrong because I don't believe in all that. But whatever your appetite is, you got to understand what come with it. So I think this young man knew what came with it, but I don't think he expected to affect his daughter. Um, and I really think in this situation, because I view humans not as born as sinners and evil people, but I view them as born in the likeness of God. I think that it was actually an accident, and it's very unfortunate to what happened to his brother and to his daughter. And this is just another example and a reminder of people. This is how I look at situations like these, of why you should live the most healthiest life that you can. Okay. This brother was a great rapper. He knew how to combine words and make them very entertaining for us to where he done made a good living for himself and a name for himself, and being involved in the street shit or whatever the case was, or people wanting to rob him. As a man, you got to do, man or woman, you have to do whatever it takes to survive. Okay. So knowing that you have more, this is something come from Detroit. It's common sense that we always think about. Knowing if you have more than the people around you, if you go into a car wash, you should have your boys with you. Like in Detroit Keys, how many times we would go somewhere alone? You feel me?
Right. Because you already know it's
Even
consequences
if
to
we go into the
action.
store, like we all going, because the odds of us getting shot or robbed with a pack of people compared to one is rare. So that's something that we were just brought up with knowing, like, okay, if I'm doing this, and especially if you famous and rich and you got chains on and you got your daughter and you know you got beef, hey, I'm bringing 4 or 5 people with me. You know what I'm saying, Keith?
Yep.
You gonna think the president landed? All black Hellcats. You know what I'm saying? We at the store. If I'm at that level. So what I'm saying is there's no excuse to not use your resources and your people to protect yourself. That should be the number one priority. And that's what I want people to understand. I'm not saying that, you need to do overkill, but always protect yourself if you have the means to do so. Because as Dave Chappelle said, this is real life. So that's my 3 cents.
Yeah. I mean, as the youngest would say, I guess he got caught lacking. I guess that's what they say it as. I wouldn't say that. But unfortunate
I'm
situation. Um
well,
with
that's
with
the rules. Like,
yeah.
unfortunately, that is the rules. Like, if they do catch you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, that is the rules of the streets, kind of. Like I said, different areas, different rules, different states, different hoods. But if you have opposition and people on you, and you don't have a stick on you, you're basically fried. Like, to the streets, you're basically asking not to be here. That's how they look at that. Now, if you got pole with you and your people with you, the odds of you getting into that beef is very low because people ain't trying to have a squad match at the car wash. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's just too risky. But if they can get you and you by yourself, it's a quick little. It's too easy for them. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah, yeah. They rather
Yeah.
have the 1v1 instead of the squads on Fortnite, basically. That's what we saying. But let
Exact. Just like on Fortnite, you don't run exactly. You don't run up on a squad in Fortnite 1-on-1. Or if you got a squad, you gonna crunch them. It's the same.
right,
There you go. It's the same mentality.
exactly.
I like
I,
that. I like that.
I use that intentionally to let people know we gamers, man. but
Right. We gonna be on
we
stream, so stay tuned
right.
for that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we gonna move on to the next one, man. And I know that you think this guy is a clown, man. And after his latest comments on what he said, I couldn't disagree. Speaking on that last situation we just talked about, he came out, and we know he's from Fort Worth, where it went down, and he made some comments, basically trolling, laughing at, making fun of the situation. Laughing at the daughter and laughing at the rapper. And from what I'm hearing, I got my ear to the internet streets, not the real streets, but my ear to the internet streets. I'm hearing there's a lot of people in Fort Worth who want to put hands on this guy, and probably more than hands, but I'm gonna just say hands for now. It's a lot of guys not happy with this dude running his mouth the way he did on that situation because a kid was involved. So the question I want to ask you is, how far is too far when it comes to trolling on the internet? Like, explain the line between trolling and clowning online, and then when that meets real life, because he could see real life consequences behind talking about a little kid that passed, an innocent little kid. So give me your thoughts on that.
So I say like this: I believe everybody has free will. So You could do whatever you want to do, but there are consequences for every decision you make. And at the end of the day, I look at it like this. I would not, as a person who tries to live with integrity, actually, as a person who does live with integrity, right? I would not say something online about somebody that I wouldn't say to their face. You get what I'm saying? So I would like to see Charleston. It's easy to say, talk about a situation with somebody not in front of you, but to say that in front of the mother, the grandparents, the brothers, you feel me? That's a whole nother situation. And I don't truly think Charleston White would do that. Another point I would like to say is I think Charleston White is a goofball. I think he's goofy, not only because of the things he said, but the way he carries himself and how he talk about women and how he talks about, like, there's nothing that come good out this man's mouth. Like, you talk about abusing females, you talk about tricking, you talk about snitching, you talk about killing, you laugh about people dying, you go around trying to start beef. Like, this man, it looked like he's asking for to see the Lord. That's what it seems like, because you can't keep playing around with people so much and think that nothing's going to happen. That's just in history hasn't happened. Last time I checked, in history, they dropped people, if I'm not mistaken. They dropped presidents. They didn't drop generals, Caesar, Gaddafi. Who else? The Beatles guy was shot. JFK was shot. So if all these people have been getting shot for going against certain groups of people and saying things and pissing off certain people who have power, what makes you think that this guy who looked like the average crackhead at the gas station, who weighs about 120 pounds, who's a known snitch, is gonna make it? And nobody gonna do nothing. So if I was Charleston, I would be chilling out on talking crazy, and especially about people from Dallas and Fort Worth area, or if they're from the ward or any area over there, because historically, their track record is they get busy. So it's ignorant for him to do that. So it seems like this guy is a certified op. He's a certain. It looked like he's an informant or something. I don't know. I'm just speculating. And it seems like he has backup, because to be talking this crazy and knowing about the people you talking about, like Durk's people and all these other people who are quote unquote, in these situations, right? Um, to be doing that and knowing how they get down, he must have some way to protect himself, because he's not a complete idiot. Let's be honest. So I think Charleston White has a backup plan. He got something cooking up. You never know what's going to come out this man's mouth. But I definitely would have been speaking on the situation. And at this point, it's pretty sad that he has to stay relevant, disrespecting people, and then him trying to act like he's all pro-black movement, but then he celebrates when black people die. It's kind of contradicting. You get what I'm saying, Keith?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. That's been one of the things about him for a while. It's like he tries to come out as some activist, but on the other end, he disrespecting people who pass away due to violence that he tries to talk against. So it kind of makes zero sense. And so I definitely
Right.
agree with you on that. It's very backwards.
You giving away book bags, but then you celebrating when the kid you gave a book bag get shot. Huh?
Yeah.
All in the
Yeah.
same sentence. It's crazy. This is what I mean by delusional. And I can't believe that he has clout like this. And this is what I mean. Shame on us for even listening to this goofball. Because like I said, when I hear random crackheads talk brazy to me, I don't be listening. I ignore them. And that's what should be happening to Charleston White. But unfortunately, in this world, stupidity is trending, ignorance is trending, and this guy has a lot of clout. And obviously it sizzled down, it's gonna sizzle over, just like any chicken head in life that tries to get popularity or fame by doing things or that are not built on solid ground and doing things that affect yourself in a negative way or the people around you, and then you're trying to grow through that and you're trying to exploit yourself for other people, you're not going to make it. You'll be, as they say, like when the wind goes through the bushes, you'll be a quick breeze. You know what I'm saying? Your hype will be for a couple years, couple months, and then it's done with. You won't be somebody who's solid, who's built on integrity and real principles. And that's what I want to bring back to the internet world and to the world and to the whole entire, street life, corporate life, anything you want to talk about, because it will benefit us all. All this craziness that we see going on and this hyper division mindset, him versus him, this color versus this color, this race, this gang versus this. At this level in the human consciousness, we got to get above it. And people like Charleston, he just to me is a person that feeds division and dividing people, but then he acts like he's here to unite. And those type of people are dangerous. And those are the vipers that Yahshua, aka Jesus, spoke about. Those are the type of the people who are referred to the snakes in the grass. You know what I'm saying? Who are really trying to cause strife and conflict and stress, but then they're coming in the name of peace and justice. And those to me are the worst, because you're not even being real who you are. If you're a slime ball, then tell everybody you're a slime ball. Don't try to act, don't try to walk around like you the Pope. I should even
Right.
said the Pope, because the Pope is a slime ball. I mean, who should I say? And no disrespect to the people who respect the Pope, but let's say
We
Jesus.
right. We get it. We get it.
Yeah,
Um,
because we could get on the Pope too. There's been some questionable things that came up. Facts. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. We maybe on the episode need to talk about, but
yeah.
not
We'll
now.
say that. We'll say that for the next one, man. We'll say that for the
Right,
next
right.
one. But just one more quick thing on Charleston before we move to the next subject. He was, snitching as he has risen to fame for. But this was when he was 16. He told on his mans who, ended up killing a man after he tried to chase the two teenagers down from shoplifting. And Charleston spoke on the interview. He did initially say that he gave his friend the weapon. I don't know if that's true or not, but what's going viral right now is the whole tape of him basically being on the stand and telling on his man, and his man's got sentenced to 75 years. Charleston comes out, he jokes about it, laughs about it, doubles down on it as he normally does. And I want to get your thoughts on this. You might have a good point of view here, because I see a lot of people saying, what was Charleston supposed to do? Not say anything and get, 75 years as well, or whatever the sentence would have been. So some people justify snitching in certain instances, um, which that's on you if you want to do that. I know me and my situation, what I would have done. I'm not going down for nothing nobody else did, but I'm not saying I'm a snitch either. But I'm just telling you, somebody else do something, I'm not getting in trouble for that shit. But for him to do that is one thing, but for him to come online and kind of boast and brag and troll is another thing. So give your thoughts first on the whole situation with this tape being released to him snitching, and then you can go from there.
Well, it's a crazy situation that the tape is even coming out. So my first question is, how did this tape even come out? Who posted it out? Because this is like a government case. It's very important, and it shouldn't be something that's dealt with on social media. So that's the first question I would ask. The next thing I would say is, uh, I don't even think that we should even be discussing on this type of topic because we don't have all the information. And I'm not saying like us, but like this video probably should not have come out because we don't know all the facts on what happened with the situation. But you did tell me that there was a murder involved. They robbed a jewelry store, and
I
what
don't
I
even
would
think
say
he
if
was
I was
security.
in this situation, right? If you go in trying to rob a store, right, and your accomplice ends up murdering somebody, you guys did not go in to rob a store, right? I mean, to kill somebody. So to make an agreement with your friend and say, "Hey, we both gonna rob a store," and then you walk out and your man's kill somebody. To me, that's disrespectful to me because now you got me in a situation we ain't talk about. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's like we gotta first handle that. The second, and another thing I wanted to say before I even got into that, the whole thing of the snitching thing and the snitch, like to me, all that is propaganda, blah, 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 hogwash. Like at the end of the day, I don't care about if someone is labeled a snitch or not. What it should come down to is are you making the best decision for yourself and the community that you live in? Okay. And for the world. So if snitching, quote unquote, is what's best for you and the community, then do so. If there's somebody in town who let's say they're kidnapping little girls and they're killing people's dogs, you should tell on that. You're not a snitch if you say something. Okay. But an example of snitching that I guess people will give a good example. A good example of snitching would be, let's say in this situation, the guy who killed the officer or who killed this individual, was it an officer or a security guard?
I don't know if it was a security guard or what, but I guess it was some random white dude trying to stop him, or I don't know. Probably a
Okay.
security.
Yeah, that's goofy. I would have just pistol whipped him. But yeah, you definitely don't kill somebody. Yeah, that's crazy. Uh so for this individual, like imagine him shooting this individual and then that guy telling on his friend and saying, "Oh, I didn't shoot him. He did. He's the one that set up this whole plan." That would be like a definition of snitching. So like what Charleston White did in this situation, I'm not trying to like defend him, but if I have the information correct from what you told me and what I heard, right, is that they went in to rob a store, right? They walked out and his man shot somebody, right? And then he told. Is that
Mm-hmm.
correct?
Yeah.
So another part of I would say the street code is, and this shouldn't even matter because who cares about these codes? Because people don't even live by them for real. When push comes to shove, and the people who do, very few. But the code would say you're not supposed to speak on the situation at all. Both of y'all are not supposed to speak on the situation, right?
Right.
And I'm not endorsing or saying what anybody should do, but um, that is technically what should have happened according to the code. So you can already tell that Charleston White is not a real street ninja, as they want to say. I'm not gonna say the real word. You get what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
if he was right, the code, and Keith, you even know this. You're not in the streets, but you know, like the code is when you get caught, nobody say nothing, right?
Right. Yep.
So everybody not supposed to say nothing. You're supposed to let Detective Billy Bob Thornton figure it out. So, you know what I'm saying? But to go in there and say, yeah, this what happened, that is kind of crazy. But this is what I mean, but I don't know the whole information about the case because, you know, there's discovery packers, all type of stuff involved. But there could have been video evidence. There could have been, they could have had dirt on people. They could have had informants, snitches. There could have been all type of things involved. And what I would like to say, a real definition of a snitch is more of like an informant. An informant, um, for those, let me give you an example. For those who've seen the show The Sopranos, when the guy, I'm pretty sure his name was Big Pussy, right? He got caught selling dog food, heroin, right? And basically the feds got him and they got him wearing a mic and they got him like giving information to the feds about what the Soprano family was doing in the show. That would be a technical definition of a snitch, an informant, or a rat. Those three words kind of mean the same thing, but they have differences. A rat is a person who is, and I got to give everybody the understanding because there's a lot of BS information going around. A rat is a person who has chosen to act as if he's somebody or something, and he is relaying information and he's telling on people and getting people killed, but he's acting like he's on another person's side. This is a long-term thing. When you do those type of things in the underworld, you're labeled a rat. Okay. A snitch is more of a person who gets in trouble and tails on other people. He's not exactly portraying to be a gangster and like relaying information to the feds or anything. This guy is more telling on people when he gets in trouble. An informant is a person who is kind of getting paid to tell on people. They have deals with the feds. And don't quote me on this. I'm not an attorney, and everything we're saying is entertainment. An informant, and these are my opinions. An informant is a person who's getting paid to quote unquote tell, aka snitch. So I can say this: you can be a snitch and a rat and an informant, but you can't. You can be a snitch, but you don't have to be a rat or an informant. Does that make sense, Keith?
Yeah, yeah. I guess I understand it, man. I just it is very complicated, honestly. Like when you put that out there like that. Like I understood everything you said, but it's just that other people say that all of those have different definitions, and I hear it every day. So it's just like
Right. And that's why I want to break it down to like the
yeah,
easiest way to
yeah,
understand. Like a rat is like a double agent, basically. Like, for example, you know what I'm saying? That's someone who's like complaining police side. A snitch is like a person who's, the kid at the park who's always telling, like, Johnny did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's always telling. And then
yeah.
an informant is a person who's just like, I get paid to tell. Like I walk around town, like, hey, you hear what Bob did today? Like I get you $20. Yeah. Give me $20. I'll tell you where his stash is at. Like that's
Okay,
that's the type of for it. You know what I'm saying?
so
So
based on your definition, and we about to move to the next topic, but based on
yes,
your
sir.
definition of those three, what would Charleston be labeled as?
To be honest, it seems to me like he's an informant. Only
Okay.
because like you've seen videos of him calling the police and saying, hey, I know about this person, his name is this, he goes by this name, he has this many murders. If you have the cops on speed dial, you're an informant. Okay, a snitch is like a crackhead who get caught and the cops beat his ass and be like, where'd you get this shit? And then he tells. He ain't got the cops on speed dial. A rat doesn't really, a rat is doing long-term snitching, like telling. Like a rat is like acting like he's part of the gang and then he's in it for years. And then at the last minute, after you make the biggest deal of your life, the rat comes out like, I got you. Here's my badge. You know what I'm saying? Or here are my buddies, the cops. So when you look at all the different situations, and we've all seen movies and shows, so we have examples of what a rat, a snitch, and all these people are. Just watch your favorite gang related movie or mafia movie, and you'll see these individuals we're speaking about. Charleston should remind you and should represent to me, and I think to most people, as an informant. And that's what we really need to call him. And we should probably start that movement. We need to start calling him a snitch and start calling him an informant. Because that's how he coming off.
Okay. All right. Everything is alleged. Everything is opinions, man. But
Opinions, right? We don't know for sure.
right.
I don't want no smoke between nobody. And for whoever's using this guy, shame on you because he's a knucklehead. And he looked like an informant, little crackhead, little bummy ass, weird guy. You know what I'm saying? Where the hoes at? You know what I'm saying? Drinking some 5 o'clock shadow.
All right.
Shit.
So speaking of snitching,
Milwaukee Best had that.
speaking of snitching, we're gonna get to our last topic of the show, man. And we got to talk about Big Meech now. He has been accused of being a snitch, rat, informant, whatever the hell y'all want to say, man. I'm not a, I don't fuck with none.
Yes, a
So,
snitch.
but he's been accused of that, right? And the reason why I got so much attention was because 50 Cent, who has a huge following, he stamped it. He said that Big Meech ratted. And this is basically after 50 Cent had got mad at him because Big Meech was pictured with somebody 50 doesn't like, and that is Rick Ross. So a lot of people had questions after 50 Cent quote unquote exposed Big Meech for being a snitch, because they looked at it like this: yo, how you calling this man a snitch? But you did a whole TV show series on this man, made money off this man, and did all of that. And you supposed to be a street dude, but you did a TV show on the snitch. So to me, it looks iffy. It looks iffy. There's a lot of questions there. And, 50 Cent hasn't really answered many of those. But I want to get your thoughts, man, on this. Um, First, do you believe Big Meech is a snitch? And obviously, this is all opinionated. We don't know, everything that has gone down. We just speaking on what's public. So don't get on here trying to correct every little minor detail. It's just two boys speaking. Damn, I know how y'all be taking this shit so serious. But anyway, do you believe Big
Yeah,
Meech?
that's why I'm trying to be exact because
Yeah,
you know, I want to talk about these topics, but I just know things are a lot more complicated. But what I
yeah,
like to do is bring in like a most logical, spiritual, point
yeah.
of
And
view that I can come up with.
it's nothing wrong with that, man. It's nothing wrong with that. It's people that's doing way worse than this. I ain't gonna lie. And plus, these are the
Right,
type of
right. They
conversations.
be talking off the wall just to give views. I'm like, man, anybody
Yeah,
could go outside and say some crazy shit.
yeah. These are the type of conversations we normally have anyway, but we just giving it to the public. But
You
so to
feel
get to
me?
my question, do you think Big Meech is a snitch? And how do you feel about what 50 Cent did, going at this guy basically because he was mad at him for taking a pic with his eye? What you think about that?
Well, one to even say that Big Meech is a snitch, I think that's crazy. Like, unless you seen paperwork, so 50 Cent should know that. So, uh, I doubt that that's the case. Two, like I wouldn't be playing with Big Meech and them, and just speaking on their name like that in his name. And I find it ungrateful that you made millions of dollars based on somebody, and then because he took a picture with somebody you don't like, now you want to call him names and say that he's a snitch. That sounds like some feminine baby ass goofy work to me. Um, that's not how like we should be handling things as men in 2025. Like, if you like, who cares if somebody you like took a picture with somebody you don't like? Who cares? What does that really have to do with your life? And sometimes, like, I love 50, you know what I'm saying? We both ate, spiritual life path, but like, man, sometimes commenting on stuff, you got to chill out. But, 50 is a very wise person. He's a businessman. So I feel like he has a reason to do so. Um, when we'll see. And I haven't seen 50 lose many debates or arguments. And I haven't seen him really get blackballed for things he's said. And I think that it probably will be squashed. And yeah, I wonder really if 50 said that, because that's crazy to me to call Big Meech a snitch. Like, do you know who you're referring to? Like, this ain't white boy Rick. You get what I'm saying?
No, he said it,
So,
bro.
like, to say that one of the biggest plugs in American history is a snitch is outlandish. Okay, as my one boy would say, wowzers. You know what I'm saying? Wowzers. Like, can't believe you just said that. And because of a picture, like what?
Okay, I
I
guess
find
we
that
could
goofy.
say I guess we could say a little more than a picture. Rick Ross was gonna have like a concert or like a car show, some type of show, and Big Meech was gonna be like a special guest appearance type, and they did like a promo online for it. That's what it was. But still, it's still the same difference. It was just
Hey, get
yeah,
your money. Listen,
right,
I'm
right.
in jail. You made money off me. I can't come outside and get some money off Rick. So if that's your op, why would you be mad? See, this is not street. This is not even like common sense. If me and you are boys and we making money, right? Why would you be mad that I made money with your op? Like, it's not even your op. Like Rick Ross and 50 Cent don't even have no real beef. Like, it's not like Rick Ross and shot 50 Cent people. That's a whole nother situation. It's just y'all don't like each other, bro. I'm not keeping away hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars because you don't like another man. Like, this is real life. Like, you goofy. I got bills to pay. I've been locked up for 20, 30 years. I'm gonna eat. So that any real person that love you, I think would have that type of mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would never be like, hey, bro, I don't like you taking pictures with whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
With my one person that I hate, which I don't hate nobody, but you know what I'm saying? That's just goofy. And I think people need to rise above that. Like, you gotta let that beef go, whatever you got with Rick Ross. Rick Ross got his own problems. You got your own shit to worry about. You know what I'm saying? Stop trying to control what other people trying to do. Like, if he wants to take a picture with another man, he could do so. It should be that simple. And that the fact that he even acted like that, me, if I'm Meech, bro, I'm not even dealing with you. I'm straight on you. Matter of fact, pay me my royalties, pay me my check. You over here commenting on me what I'm doing online. Where my money at? That's what I'm talking about. Shit.
right. I think it gets a little complicated because Big Meech did sell his life rights to this woman, and 50 Cent somehow worked out a deal with her. So it's a little complicated how 50 Cent is able to profit off that show. And I don't know how much money Big Meech gets off of it, but nonetheless, we're gonna end it right there, man. SovereignTy, appreciate you pulling up to the channel, man. I'm gonna have you on more for sure. We went about an hour, man. I know how you like the yap, so I knew it was gonna be a long one. But uh, appreciate
I
you giving
appreciate
us
y'all having me and just listening to what I have to say. I'm very humbled that I was called to do this, and I love sharing my thoughts and opinions with the world, and to find like-minded people and to enjoy the time that we have on this rock.
yes, sir. And yeah, we're gonna have you back. Shout out your channel or anything if you want some people to follow you, you could do that.
Yes, sir. I got a channel, Soul of Susano, on YouTube, and then also a podcast called Healthy, Wealthy, Happy. You can find on iTunes and Stitcher, um, any app in basically the Play Store. So I got a lot of topics on there. Been doing that for a couple years. We're gonna transition to this show called Soul of Susano. So keep your eye out on that. And we're gonna be building. We'll be twitching, working out all online, live streaming it all, recording. And me and Keith, we gonna have fun, and y'all gonna have fun with us, and we gonna share some knowledge and information so we can all live in harmony and bring heaven to earth. So that's all I gotta say, y'all. Appreciate it.
All right. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, man. Appreciate all you guys for checking out this video, this podcast. And hey, we up out of here. Peace.
Peace.